Did we ever truly exist, or were we just echoes in a machine long since powered down? The answer arrived not as a thought, but as a tremor in reality itself. At first, no one noticed. Civilization continued its dance, oblivious to the subtle glitches at the edge of perception. Empires rose and fell, reaching for heavens already unraveling. The universe, we thought, was a constant. We were wrong. The signs were in the silences between moments, a child's laugh lingering too long, a shadow falling with ancient weight. These were symptoms of the great forgetting, the universe losing its memory. We cataloged these as anomalies, not realizing we were documenting our own erasure. I remember a colleague describing a dream. He was a line of code, waiting to be executed in an abandoned program. The dream felt more real than the world beneath his feet. That tremor was the beginning. The moment the simulation glitched, reality faltered, and the program encountered an error it could not resolve. From then on, reality contradicted itself, repeating passages, leaving chapters blank. We were characters in a story being erased, one forgotten word at a time. Sometimes, I wonder if the tremor was a warning or an invitation, if perhaps, in the moment everything began to unravel, something else was quietly trying to reach us. I never found out what it was. Maybe I never will. But as the silence grows, I find a strange comfort in knowing that even as we fade, we were here. If only for a moment, if only as a question. My role as archivist became absurd, preserving memories in a cosmos erasing its own past. Data streams thinned, galactic clusters vanished, not destroyed, but deleted. The void left behind was terrifying. An empty stage, scrubbed of history. We received fragmented signals, poetry in dead languages, a lone instrument, laughter from vanished playgrounds. These were ghosts in the machine, the universe's last exhalations. We became librarians of the void. I listened to a transmission from World 7 Kilo Delta. Just wind through a canyon, then the creak of a swing, repeating for years. No civilization, just absence. These echoes proved reality was a degrading recording, not a physical construct. The laws of physics were parameters of a failing program. The static between signals was the raw code showing through the cracks. We lived inside a fading memory. The static was the sound of its fading, and we were its last witnesses. The great library of Althani was meant to outlast time itself, but as reality decayed, so did the archive. Data crystals clouded over. Knowledge became inaccessible, like a word you can't recall. The library became a mausoleum for forgotten facts. I walked silent corridors, lined with the ghosts of information, histories, art, science, now null responses and digital hums. One day, I found a section where data crystals had crumbled to dust. In that dust was the epic of civilizations, the code of life, the proof of higher dimensions, now reduced to undifferentiated matter. The ultimate entropy was not heat death, but the death of meaning. The library's decay taught a final lesson. Everything becomes unintelligible before it ends. The universe ceases to make sense before it ceases to be. Connections fray. Stories dissolve into meaningless particles. We, the last librarians, were left to catalog the dust. Memory itself was turning to ash. And soon, even the dust would be forgotten. The decay spread to the heavens. Stars flickered erratically. Constellations drifted apart. The night sky became a map of confusion. We watched as nebulae unformed, their colors fading, nascent stars going cold, not exploding, just coming undone. It was as if the universe had forgotten how to build a star. Creation itself was grinding to a halt. The universe was being unwritten. Astronomers went mad, their models useless, chasing ghosts across a shifting cosmos. Many abandoned their posts, staring at blank screens. Faith and reason shattered. I remember the last star I saw born, a brief, brilliant flicker, then gone. Not a supernova, not a collapse, just vanished. It was a failed line of code, started but never completed. In that moment, I understood. The universe was not running out of energy, but out of will. The creative impulse that sparked the Big Bang was now a faint ember. The stars were forgetting themselves, and we were left in the growing dark. The end was not destruction, but erasure. After the stars, the laws themselves began to fray. Gravity became inconsistent, objects fell unpredictably, planetary orbits wobbled, the solar system's clockwork turned chaotic, then causality decayed, cause and effect unraveled, time looped and contradicted itself. Memories surfaced of events that hadn't happened, the past became hazy. I witnessed a building deconstruct itself in reverse, erasing its own existence piece by piece. The universe was not just forgetting history, it was editing it out. The simulation was cleaning up its memory, dismantling the logic that underpinned our existence. We were artifacts of a corrupted program, and the system was purging errors. The laws of physics weren't breaking, they were being reset to a state of pure, unstructured potential. The default state was nothing. Reality was being rewritten as blank space. The unraveling was nearly complete, and we were being deleted. The last city, nameless and silent, gathered the final remnants of our kind. A soundless rain fell, not water, but a liquid melancholy that washed color and definition from everything. Language lost meaning, we communicated with gestures and glances, becoming silent ghosts in our own ruins. Buildings blurred, their forms wavering, persuaded by the rain that they did not exist. The city was not destroyed, but forgotten by the universe. Our memories, loves, and fears diluted by the ceaseless, quiet downpour. I watched from a high tower as a figure below blurred, became translucent and simply ceased to be, a thought erased from the cosmos. There was no fear, only understanding. This was how it ended. Not with a bang, but with a fade. We were being rained away, one by one. The city dissolved into mist, and we faded with it. Silence became our only legacy. In the final days, a single clear signal cut through the static, a repeating sequence of prime numbers, a message of undeniable intelligence. It was the first and only time we received something that felt like communication from the creators. We had no way to respond. Our transmitters were dust, our science a forgotten dream. The signal was a beacon of logic in a universe that had abandoned it. Was it a final diagnostic, a reboot, or just a signature at the end of a canvas? We would never know. The signal was not for us. We were artifacts overhearing it. Its cold indifference was more terrifying than any malice. We were not hated, not even considered. The signal continued as the last structures dissolved into mist. The final sound in the universe. The last song was an equation. Listening, I felt awe and dread. The universe was ending with a mathematical whisper. Our universe was a simulation, a program running on a prehistoric machine built by forgotten engineers. We were a side project, a forgotten experiment left running in a cosmic basement. The machine was not sleek, but vast and ancient, powered by a dying star. The glitch was not destruction, but hardware failure, a loose connection, a failing power source. The dread was not that we were simulated, but that we were abandoned. There was no one watching, no one to judge or mourn us. The program was not being terminated, it was simply running down. The creators were not cruel, just absent. We were a forgotten file on a decaying hard drive, a ghost in a machine with no operator. Our reality was a footnote in a history never written. We were the last flickers before the screen went dark, and there was no one left to turn it back on. The rain has stopped. The city is gone. The signal is silent. Only a soft, gray mist remains. My form is fading, my thoughts dissolving. The archive is dust. The universe is a blank slate. I am the last entry in the log, the final observation before shutdown. There is no fear, only stillness. I transmit this record into the void, not knowing if it can be received. Perhaps it will persist as a faint echo after the power is cut, a final, meaningless piece of data. This is an act of faith, a testament to the habit of conscious beings to record their existence, even in oblivion. The machine, the simulation, The glitch. Just words. My last attempt at narrative. The truth is likely simpler, more alien. But this is the story I've told myself as everything dissolves. Now, I let it go, the last memory to be erased. The silence that comes is not absence, but perfect equilibrium. If a story is told but no one hears it, did it ever make a sound? Consider the silence that holds your world together.